Welcome to Conversations in the Closet. I am your host, Teresa Romer, and today I have one of the most amazing women that probably graces the face of this earth. She is phenomenal. Her story is phenomenal. I cannot wait to introduce you guys to her. Her name is Madelin Dior, the channel. She's a clairvoyant business coach. She specializes in leading people to unbelievable results in no time by teaching them the art of quantum leaping on demand, no matter what the circumstance. Those who get the opportunity to work with Madelin say that 2 minutes of her time will change your life. She has traveled the globe with the National Gymnastics Team and spent the past 27 years coaching elite clients in the field of sports and business. With her extreme mindset, she strives to change the world by bringing world-class leadership skills to the table. Do I need to say any more about this woman? I mean, you can already see her resume speaks for itself. I am so honored and blessed to be able to have this conversation with her in this interview. Madelin, oh my goodness. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are excited. I'm telling you, I've never, ever worked with or spoken to a clairvoyant before. You might need to fill us in on what it all is, what it means, what you do, and how you got started. Like,
yeah,
how do you even get started in something like this?
Yeah, so it's actually not on purpose. I didn't know I had these kind of spiritual skills. I had no idea. I knew nothing about the spiritual world, nothing. So it all started out, actually it's a crazy story, so I'm going to make it as short as I can. It started out with me moving into a new apartment with my little son, only 3 years old. And then suddenly I heard steps in the hallway. And I was, I freaked out because I've never experienced anything like it. And that's how it started. So to make a long story short, I called a clairvoyant. I didn't even know what a clairvoyant was. But I called a clairvoyant, found a number, and then she told me what was going on. And then I ended up in her education. I ended up in a spiritual clairvoyant education, where I learned everything about clairvoyance, healing, guides, and spirits, and so on. And I mastered it, if you could say that. I mastered it from day one. I was just an open channel, and that's why I allow myself to call myself the channel today, because I receive information like from the universe, from whatever you want to call it. Some people call it the angels, spirit guides. I call it everything. The universe is good to use.
So you were a natural right from the beginning.
Yes, I didn't have to practice, but I learned the tools. So that's what I've been doing for the last 9 years. I have taught people in my business courses, in my quantum business courses, how to be channels so they can make better decisions in business. Yes, so that's a very exciting journey.
Yes, and I hear a lot of your clientele are extremely wealthy, extremely well known, and very good at what they do already.
They are.
But they want to go to the next level.
Yes, exactly. And some of them started with nothing, really nothing, built themselves and their companies up from zero, just like I did. Right. So it's just amazing to help people that are already amazing, because actually it gets easier to help people on that level, because you only need to work on that 1%. Right? They don't have to move a lot around in order to become even more successful. And that is what I'm extremely excited about. So my primary tool is Pareta's law, which is like you can spend a tiny amount of energy and time on creating great results. And I work with that law in extreme. So that's the 99-1 rule that I kind of invented. I didn't invent it, but that's my way of working. You only need to figure out your 1%. Right. And that can generate 99% results.
Well, and it's probably easy to work with people like that because, number one, they're highly successful already. Yeah. So they know how to put the work in. They know what it took to get themselves to that level. So being able to get to the next level and whatever is needed to get to that level, they're like, sign me up.
Exactly. And they just do the work exactly as you said.
Whereas if you're working with someone that's never quite known success or never quite gotten there, that takes a lot more work because they don't know how to get there. They don't. Some of them
and that's another conversation. I mean, it's something very different.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like the Tony Robbins when it comes to the business of clairvoyant.
You're welcome to call me that. What can I say? Yeah. So what about I tell you a little bit about my world, the clairvoyant world, before we get started?
Yes, please.
Yes. So clairvoyance is just reading energies. And we all have the ability to do that from we were born. I mean, that's a natural ability. But we all have kind of forgotten it because we learn to use our brain. And the most important part in clairvoyance is to not use your head, not use your brain, get rid of your ego. And that's the most difficult part, actually, because everything that you know, you can't use it, and you cannot judge people on how they look or how they sound.
So when you say read your energy, so like if someone walked up to me and said, oh my God, Teresa, your aura is very blue. I see a lot of blue and pink.
Yeah.
Is that my energy?
That's your energy, but that's not how I see energy. So it's different types of energies. But to explain again in a very simple way, we all have a gut feeling about people that we don't know, you know? So when we see people, we just know. Yeah. So we know if they feel bad or, you know, if they're lying, we don't just know. Yes. That is the ability that we are able to train, like going to the gym and training our muscles, you know, exercise. Yes. And that's what I've been doing for so many years now. And when you train, you become better. You become very specific. But the thing is that I cannot decide what to deliver to you. I can only give you what I receive, and I receive in 4 ways, messages for you in 4 ways. I receive in my inner hearing. Like I can hear a voice, a sentence in my head, or I can receive information about you in my feelings. So if you have like a damaged knee, I would be able to feel it. So that hurts a lot sometimes. Yeah. Or I can feel sad and then I know it's not me. Okay. And then I can see a movie or, you know, pictures from my inner eye. Or I can just know something without having proof for anything. And I have so many examples and stories around that. But that's how the clairvoyant receive information.
So my question is how do you avoid being completely bogged down with other people's emotions and problems and everything? Like, how do you keep that from like loading onto you? And you know what I'm saying?
Yes, it took me several years to learn to shut down.
Because I like if I'm around a negative person. Yeah, it affects you. It doesn't take long for me to be around that negative person, and I'm like, I have got to get away from you. Like, yes, I can't handle all of this negative energy and all this negativity. You're piling it on me, and I can't take it. Like, exactly, and that is energy. I mean, we all feel it. Mm-hmm. So it's just another language. So instead of speaking English, we speak clairvoyantly, you know? Right. So it's another language that you have to interpret. And I have practiced that for years. And I'm using it to help people in their business, to make better decisions, to lead better and great results. Exactly. And also in my own business, because I receive information from my own life as well. So the thing you just asked me about, you need to learn how to close down. And it takes a while to learn that, but it's also kind of a learnable skill. So have you ever had to deliver bad news? Yes, So I'm sure you just can't give happiness all the time. I mean, no, I'm sure there's got to be some sadness or some bad news somewhere. Yes, you know. Yes, and there are some rules, some ethical rules in clairvoyance. You don't deliver death dates to people. You don't talk about if their spouse is cheating on them, and you don't talk about
about serious illness. These are the roles. And then, of course, you have to use your human to communicate in a
Right.
proper way, okay, to
Right.
deliver the messages.
Right.
And my form is very direct, and it's not for everybody.
Right.
Most clairvoyant people are like very soft and round and delivering with, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a style,
Mhm.
and it's based on personality. And
Sure.
my personality is very direct, so I usually receive very specific, direct dates, messages, and stuff like that from the past, from the now, and from the future.
Wow.
So one more very important thing to understand about clairvoyance, how it's even possible, it is that time doesn't exist. So we only have the now. We don't have the past or the future. It's just something that we as human beings have invented to be able to negotiate and, you know, with each other. So everything is just happening at the same time. And this is very difficult to wrap your head around, your brain around.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I have a past. Hmm,
Yeah, so
interesting.
yeah,
We invented that.
we invented that, yeah. So everything is happening at the same time. And I have been working a lot with time because of business. You know, you want to reach your goals as fast as possible, right?
Yes.
So I have been, experiencing with starting my day at 5 p.m. afternoon. Yes. And it takes something here to do that. But I'm telling you, it's, you know, it's changing everything. So everything is perception. And this is what's very interesting, right?
So if you start your day at 5, when do you end it?
Yeah, when do I end it then? It's something that I experimented with long time ago,
Like
but
one-
I make experience like that. So I sleep at night, but you know, my brain and my energy, you know, I give my energy to the people and the things and the tasks that I want from the beginning of my day. And it started when I had a job. I was running a multimedia company, a marketing company. In a normal job, I was the leader of the company, and I hated that job because I was the boss, but I wasn't the boss because it wasn't my company.
Right.
So
right,
I
right.
needed to figure out how to survive there until I could afford to leave the job.
Okay.
So I decided when my day ends at 5 p.m., this is where my working day ends. This is where my life starts. This is where my day starts.
Sure.
That
sure.
means that next day, if my day starts at 5 p.m., then I go home, go to sleep, and so on. And then when I wake up and go to work, they get the rest of my energy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I make experiences like that in my life in order to kind of trick my brain to become a better clairvoyant now.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to talk about concepts like that, because the only thing that is limiting us from the success that we really, really want is here. I mean,
True.
it's the only thing, and it's not easy because we cannot see where we are stuck.
Yeah.
That's why everybody needs help, no matter how successful they are.
Yeah.
And I love to help successful people because that's what I've been doing since I was 17. That's a long time ago.
Yes. Yes.
Like coaching elite people from 17 years
That's
ago.
why I always tell people the only person standing in the way of your success is you.
Exactly.
Right here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How fun. Okay.
Yeah. So the way that I usually run these sessions is normally in big group settings where people get to ask one question. But now, today, where we're you and I, I start with tuning in on your energy, and then I'm just going to tell you what's coming through.
Okay.
And I like it to be a conversation.
Okay.
Because I not only use my clairvoyant skills, I use my healing skills if necessary. I use my coaching skills, my NLP skills, all my tools. I use them. It's not only clairvoyance, and I also use my experience. So I use everything. So let's make it a conversation, because that's how I can contribute the most,
Okay.
and where people who are listening can really be inspired instead of only clairvoyant answers.
Right.
And then you can ask questions, you can interrupt me, and by the end of the session, if you have a lot of questions, we're going to take them one by one.
Okay.
Yeah. But just interrupt me. Let's make it as a conversation.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you say, Teresa? We just get started. Do you have any questions?
We are getting started. We are getting started.
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it seems like in my younger days of being an entrepreneur, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I did it. And then I kind of retired from being an entrepreneur. I don't think you ever retire from being an entrepreneur, but I kind of like decided to just be married and be a country club wife and play golf and do nothing for a while because I could afford to be that way, right? And then I had a friend decide that she wanted me to go into business with her, and we did. And then that fell apart because she got divorced. And so then I had to pick up the pieces and kind of move forward with my own business and stuff. And so I've always wondered if I'm in the wrong business or if I should be doing something else, because it seems like no matter how hard I work and how bad I want this to be successful, it seems like more of a hobby than it does an actual money-making business.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know I am the brand. I know my face. Just like back in the day when I owned my health clubs, even though I had brick and mortar and it was a place for people to come, I was the brand. I mean, like everybody just knew they wanted to join that gym or whatever because it was me, because of my personality and me and everything else. And I was highly successful and I made a lot of money and I was happy. And then since then, I've kind of struggled at what do I want to be in life? I know I'm the brand. I know my face is the brand. I know I've always wanted to be on TV. I know I always wanted to be famous. But it just seems like instead of it being a 7 or 8 figure income, it's more like little amounts of money, but I'm still having fun. So I don't know if I'm on the right path or if I got lost somewhere along the way or what. Okay.
So let's start with that. See what comes through of other things also. So I almost get drawn to speaking. I get that word all the time, speaking. It's like you're very good at speaking. But I would like you to speak with even more intentionality. I know that you are intentional. I can feel that in your energy. I can see it in your eyes. But I just get this all the time, speaking. Because you're extremely good at it. You have a talent for speaking because you have a very good intuition. Your intuition is not trained. I would love to do that. Your intuition is not trained, but you have a very good intuition. That's why you had so much success. And now they're showing me what you asked me about. There's something about it. It's because it wasn't only your business. That's the business we're talking about, right? The one you were asking me about, the one you started with your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So a part of her energy is still in it. So even though a person leaves the company, a part of this person's energy is still in it. And that is what I feel. And because she left with a very low frequency, a very low energy because of what happened.
Yes.
There is an energy present in that company, because you know when you had success with your companies, the reason why, and I can hear that you are very aware of that, but the reason why is that you have infused all of your businesses with you, and that is the reason why you've become successful. And this business now, it's not only infused with you. Does it make sense? Because everything is energy, even though we can't see it.
Right.
It's even in the walls. So if we move into a new house,
yes,
that is not newly built, the previous owners, their energy is in the walls. We can't prevent it. So this is why I never buy vintage, for example, because you need to be very careful when you're so sensitive. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
If you want to go to the next level, I'm telling you, you are gonna want to, if you want to, open up your spiritual chakras. And these are the throat chakra for communication, the third eye chakra where you can see beyond this dimension, and your crown chakra where we receive information, like being a clear channel, because these are usually the last channels that we open up on purpose. Yours are already open because otherwise you wouldn't be able to both be happy and have success and have a great life.
Yes.
But what I can see is that this chakra here, you could train that if you wanted to, and you could do it on purpose, because then you would receive so much information on demand. And the reason why I know on demand is because your energy is very, how do you say that in English? That's not my first language, strict, very direct. It's like mine.
Yes.
Very like, you know what you want, you know who you are. Don't fuck with me, that's your energy.
Yes.
So when you have that energy, when we want answers, they just come when we are very, very intentional.
Yes.
And it would be easy for you. So I want you to speak. I want you to speak because you have so much wisdom and so much life. You know so much. You have so many skills. And I want them to be kind of packaged into something. I don't know if you've made, I don't know anything about you basically, other than you are extremely successful. I just reacted on your energy. I navigate by energy in my life.
Right.
And I am very careful of who I surround myself with.
Yes.
Also my clients.
Right.
So they just keep saying, speaking. So imagine that it feels like your throat is a little bit tight, and it doesn't necessarily feels like that. But if you really feel into it, if you place your presence in your throat, can you do that right now? And just be present right there instead of here. So imagine that now we can double the size of your throat, so there's more space. Then naturally something comes to your mind that you want to say. Yeah. So it's very, very simple techniques, but you have a skill of speaking. Have you done that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love to speak. I love to speak in front of audience. I love to have big audiences and motivate them, inspire them.
Yes. So I would love you to do that on purpose, like even more on your social channels.
Yes.
Because that's your next level. And I see more freedom there for you because you need to come out with your energy. Otherwise you'll burn out.
Yeah.
Because your energy gets stuck in your body. Yeah. So mainly we're mainly operating in the upper chakras, which are the spiritual energy, the 3 upper chakras, and it's connected from the heart, the spiritual chakras, and the human world, the human energy. Yeah, the human disciplines that you master.
So you're thinking that the speaking is that's gonna be what takes my brand to the next level.
Yes, that's what I see very clearly. Speaking. Yeah.
And you think that's sometime soon or over the next 5 years, or?
I don't think. I can see that it's now. If you choose so. So no matter what advice I kind of deliver to you, it's up to you, okay? Because we have our free will. And if you suddenly like make a quantum leap in your life, let's say you get divorced, or let's say something else, close your business, or then your energy changes, and then my answers will change as well, no matter what I said.
Of course, yes.
Just to make people like really understand that we can never give our power away to a clairvoyant lady or anything.
Yes.
Yeah. So I see you starting with it now, if you want to.
So years ago, like 2012, 2013, I was told that in the coming year of that year that I would become famous. They didn't know how. They didn't know how I was going to become famous, what it was going to be. But she said, you know, you would become internationally known.
Yeah.
Well, a year later, my closet, the world's largest closet, became famous.
Yeah. And when was that? When did it start?
2013. 2014.
That's amazing, right? That's amazing, right? Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, wow, okay, you know. So I often wonder, because I've always wanted to be on TV and whatnot, if there's more fame ahead for me, or if the fame that I reached from that is basically where I'm at, and it's really not going to go any farther.
Yeah. I keep seeing something else related to your speaking, and it's a book. And I have seen on your profile that you have written a book. I don't know when, but it's not that book. It's another kind of book that goes more into personal development, your wisdom, like basically it's your words. And I would love it to be named with something like that, my words, you know, something very unique that is very basic and very easy to comprehend, but because you have so much wisdom. I keep seeing that book all the time, and I want it to be released by the end of next year. Yeah.
So you know, I'm married, and my husband has had lots of health issues this past year and a half, and I'm just trying to figure out if we're done with that, or if there's more on the horizon.
So it's like, did you speak about? There's something that there's something that hasn't been said around this. Do you hold back in regards to him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because it completely changed my life a year and a half ago. So the life I knew, I no longer have.
I understand.
You know, I'm pretty much locked at home with him. I haven't traveled. You know, I used to be on an airplane every month, collaborating all over the United States with people, you know, just doing what I do best. And I literally had to shut all of that down. You know, first there was COVID, and that shut us down. And then my husband with all of his health issues. And so, yeah, I mean, I hold back a lot on that because, you know, some resentment has started to build.
Yes, I understand.
Him, because I'm like, I want you know, and sometimes I don't feel like he puts in the effort that is needed for him to get better.
Yes, I understand. I see a big wound in him, not a physical wound. I just see a big wound, and it has to do with communication. So
what?
Communication.
Oh, communication.
Because he feels everything, because he knows you so well. So have this conversation with him, even though it's not easy. But this will help you kind of have your breakthrough together. Yeah. And set yourself free. Right. And it's also communication. So that's obviously the topic today. So those that are listening, that's advice for you as well. It always is. When we're listening to something, it's advice for us. It always is. Right. And then let me speak with him with no Zoom, okay? Or with no video recording. Let me speak with him. I'm a healer. Yeah. Yeah. So what I see is that it's not over yet, because he hasn't taken responsibility for it, because he doesn't know how. I can guide him. And even though I try to help him, because I, you know, have been I've been in health and fitness my whole life. Yeah. You know, I try to help push him into the exercises he needs to do and everything. But sometimes I feel like he's just content at being where he is right now, which is not where I want to be. You know, he's not content. He's not content. And it's not because he doesn't want to. I'm not going to say too much, you know, because he's not here. But it's not because he doesn't want to. It's because he doesn't know how. Because it has to do with feelings. He's not very good at that, you know, emotions. Right. And it's about opening up. It's very difficult if you haven't learned it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's about that. So physical things in the body always represent something, and it's Is it his back, you said?
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the back always in general has to do with not being able to hold ourselves through life. And that's a huge pain for a man. Also for a woman, of course, but I mean,
Yes.
yes. So it's not because he doesn't want to. So that's definitely light at the end of the tunnel
Right.
if you're choosing another road. And
Right.
that is communication. Very important.
Yeah.
Don't hold back, because you're holding yourself back, and it affects the energy in your relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So when we want a breakthrough, when you want a breakthrough, you need to break through your own limitations. What hasn't been said has to be said.
Yeah.
And you know how to speak from the heart.
Yeah.
No.
I think sometimes I just hate having these conversations because, you know, what happened to him was not his fault. And now he's paying the price for it. And, you know, he's always like, you know, if I could do better, I would.
Yeah. So do you want to hear my take on stuff like that?
Yes.
What happened to him? What his God-given gift? This is the best thing that ever happened to him. How? It's going to show up when you have that approach.
Really?
Yes, really, I promise you. That's another story, right? So when you look through those lenses, everything changes. Because I work with quantum leaps, and it's not just this superficial quantum leaping. Now you learn to meditate and stuff like that. You have to do that as well, but it's not that. So quantum leaping, the most important part of quantum leaping is the observer. So that is why you want to hire a coach or a mentor, business coach, or just any other kind of mentor, or relationship coach, whatever, because it's about the one who observes you. So when somebody sees a genius in you, you can do so much more. Do you know that from your fitness the time back in the days? I have been working in fitness and gymnastics my whole life, so many years, on elite level. And I've been teaching in yoga and gymnastics for extremely many years. And when I was in front of people, and even now on stages and stuff like that, I perform better than when I do a video. You know that, right? That is just one very normal example of the quantum field. It's the observer. So my boy, he's almost 12. Sometimes, very often, we get locked in our head that this is how he is, this is how she is. And then we get frustrated and we're just caught up in that story, right? Mm-hmm. Then I remind myself when I remember it, you're not that, you are what I think. And I promise you, Teresa, it's going to change everything. When you start seeing your husband as powerful, he changes. Because it's your energy that's radiating out in your house, in your relationships, in your conversations, in the depth and in the quality of your conversation, both with him and with you.
So you're saying instead of looking at him as a helpless person that can't move around much, I need to start looking at him as a powerful man.
Yes. Yes. It's going to change everything. Our relationships are going to change when we change the story about them and how we view them. And that's powerful stuff. That's very powerful stuff.
Wow.
I have many examples with my son. My son, he is very, very shy, but he just attracts people like he doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
And then he was telling me, I'm so shy, I don't dare to do this, I don't dare. And then I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I get frustrated when he's not there. And then I reminded myself, because I was like that, but I'm not anymore, because that's not me. I mean, there's something that we have learned. So I thought, okay, you are powerful and you do exactly what you want and you dare to do stuff. And the next morning he came down the stairs. You know what, Mom? I'm not shy anymore. I'm just powerful now. And I mean, that is just mind blowing. It happens all the time. It happens with my clients, but in close relationships, the ones you live with, This is just amazing stuff. And that's the quantum field. People change when your energy in your relationship changes.
Right.
And the one who knows most, who has the most wisdom and the spiritual insights, are the ones with the responsibility. Because
Right.
we are the only ones who can do it.
Right.
My son cannot do it. He didn't learn that yet. And your husband is not capable of doing that yet because he's just not. He can't. You're the one. Okay.
All up to me again.
Yeah. And back to the business question you asked me in the beginning, with this business that you kind of took over, right? When she left.
Well, I didn't really take it over. I mean, it was dumped in my hands because the
Yeah.
business still had to go forward.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
my lawyer said, you can reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Don't feel sorry for yourself. You've gone through worse things. You buried your son. You can do
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
I went forward. I dissolved that company. I started my own company, you know, but I seem to, over the past, say, 10 years, create this clothing line, create this candle line, write another book, come out with a skincare line. And I'm a very creative person, and I keep coming out with all of this stuff, but yet it's not like, I mean, I had some bad things happen when I came out with my candle lines, and then my stepson did some horrible things, and there was restraining orders, and I had to pull all of my candle lines out of all these spas and Neiman Marcus and everything. So I've had many, many setbacks, but I have never let any of those setbacks stop me from just continuing to plunge forward and try to just make everything happen.
No, and very often it's because there's a new kind of road for us ahead. And I see speaking. I keep seeing that. It just keeps coming in and speaking. So, and another thing, you're very good at taking way too much responsibility, doing everything. I'm so sorry, but it's very obvious.
Very true.
Yeah, and I want you decide, but I want you to make it easier for yourself. And that's your next kind of challenge, because that's not easy for you.
Mm.
You always put other people first, even though many people think it's not like that. Maybe they think it's the opposite, but I can see that's what you're doing. You put yourself, first, all the other people, and then yourself last.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lesson that I have learned the hard way also, and we never really fully learned it. We never. I don't think we do that, or maybe we do, but I can just see that's your pattern. And this is where the difficulties show up in business and in life. But we cannot prevent difficult things to happen. But we can tell another story about it. And the story that I want to share with you is that when we ask for success, which you constantly do every single minute of your day, I know that. I can see it in your face. You're so ambitious. When we ask for success, we need to be able to hold the flip side of success. You are able to hold that, but we tend to forget that this is what it's all about, life. Us learning to take more responsibility, and very often taking more responsibility means taking better care of ourselves, prioritizing ourselves first.
Yes.
And this is very difficult for ambitious people. I know that.
Well, and it's also been very hard this past year and a half, because I have put my husband in front of everything. I've purposely not traveled. I've purposely not hung out with girlfriends. I've purposely not taken care of myself just to be able to take care of him. And then I said, I got to take care of myself to be able to take care of him,
And now you are entering the next phase of your life, if you want to, where you're going to break that kind of routine, your pattern. And he is your husband. It will be painful for him in the beginning, but the more he understands, the more you communicate, the deeper your relationship will become. And then you will enter a new level of quality in life, where you are more grounded. So I just want you to remind you that everything that you've been going through, most of it, it's because it was meant to. Because we have our lessons in this lifetime, each one of us. And there's a flip side to every kind of success. And when we're able to hold the flip side, we're ready for the next level. So this is basically why it's been happening. Yeah. So it won't stop happening, you know?
Right.
But the more grounded you become in yourself by speaking your truth, speaking, the more effortless it will be for you.
Well, it's the same thing when my son passed away. You know, I can look back now and say I had to go through all of that for a reason.
Yeah.
Still may not know the reason. Maybe I don't know the reason until I'm with him in heaven. But I was very, very mad at God and everyone when that happened, because I couldn't understand why my life seemed so perfect and then it got shattered.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
But
yeah, how old was he?
19. He was killed in a car accident.
That's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's weird because when you can watch TV, you can watch the news, and you see these car accidents where people literally walk away, and the car is so mangled. You're like, how did that person even survive? And when I looked at my son's car accident, I thought, it doesn't look that bad. Like, why didn't he survive?
Yeah, yeah. So I've had a lot of these conversations with clients, unfortunately, because life happens, right? And what we always end up talking about is, okay, we cannot control life, but when we can accept that it was his time or her time, even though nobody wanted that, but when we can accept it without even looking for answers, just acceptance, then we're healing. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
No, and you know, yes, we're all on this earth, but none of us are meant to live forever. We're all dying. Each and every day we're dying. We're getting one day closer to our death. We don't know when that's going to be. And so I have to look at life like we're all going to die. Nobody gets to live here forever. So as sad as it is, you have to accept it and go, it was their time. I don't know when my time is going to be, you know?
So what I see happened from this day is that you started living, more. Maybe not from that day, but something opened, because when our hearts are broken, it's because they are opening. And this is what I believe the purpose of the people that we love who are leaving us. That's what they came here to teach us. To leave us with an open heart and give to the world. And this is what I see you're doing. So there you have your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get the chills all over my body, and it's usually healing energy. So conversations are healing. And you're so good at that. You have so much to share when you dare to share your vulnerable moments and life lessons. And this is what I see being your true next phase of your life that will change your relationships. First of all, with yourself, then in your marriage, and then your clients. Yeah, I see so much light in you. And not only physical light, but also this. But I also see that you're bringing light to people. And then I see that you are doing life becomes lighter, brighter, easier. Because you don't need those burdens anymore. You don't need to carry them with you. You only want to carry the good lessons, the gifts with you. And this is why I'm saying about your husband. What if the story is that this is the best thing that ever happened to him and you? It's his God-given gift that will heal himself, you, and your relationships and everybody around him. Because he's gonna be a brilliant example for how you can hit rock bottom because it was meant to. And then show people how to start living again. This is some of a purpose.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and the old saying, you know, I was always told as a little girl, God will only put on your shoulders what he thinks you can handle. And I used to say, he must think I have really big shoulders. Because he's piling a lot on me.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Very good. Wow.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. So interesting. So where can people find you? Like, where can people go to find you?
Currently, they can find me on my new Instagram profile, Madelin Dior. It's MadelinDior, Madelin Dior. And it's a new profile because I closed down my Danish business. I had a huge online business in Denmark, an 8-figure business here.
Okay.
And I wanted to change kind of, what's the word, trace? Yeah. So when I want that, I usually close down my things, like burning my boats, right?
Right.
That's what I love, because everything is energy. And if you have that hanging, it's going to affect me from now on and into the so-called future.
Well, it's kind of like they say when you buy a house, you need to go through that house with burning sage.
Exactly.
Just get rid of all the bad energy and bad spirits and everything so that you can start fresh again. It's almost like reinventing yourself.
And it's the same in business, if you ask me.
Yes.
It's the same in everything. All the concepts, you can just copy paste them into every part of your life and it will be relevant. So when we're talking about communication, so we were talking about in your marriage and as your next part of your life purpose. It's relevant in everything. How you communicate internally with yourself, how you're thinking when you're not speaking. That's also communication. Yes. Body language, communication. Everything is communicating. And when we want to change career, change anything, it's a good idea to change our words. So be very intentional about what kind of words that you use. So an example, when I started my business, I found out, okay, why is it that everything has, kind of I've just attracted everything that I wanted effortlessly, since I was a kid. An example was that I wanted to be a makeup artist, but at the time I didn't have money to it, like not at all.
Right.
And then suddenly Estee Lauder, they came and they wanted to hire me out of nowhere. And stuff like that has happened. So I've been working as a makeup artist for Max Factor's grandson for Smashbox Makeup. And I'm not educated in that field, but I've been doing it my whole life. Stuff like that. Why did it happen? So I found out, okay, it's called manifesting. So in the beginning of my career, I talked about how you manifest. And then suddenly something changed. And then I figured out, okay, my next level in words to speak about this subject is quantum leaping and exponential growth. So that's what I mean. As an example, you replace your old words with something else that has a higher frequency for you.
And I'm a firm believer in manifestation. I preach it all the time to everyone. I believe if you want it bad enough in life, you have to manifest it. I was a little girl standing in Beverly Hills taking pictures of mansions when I was a junior in high school. And my mother asked me, what are you doing? And I said, I'm taking pictures of these beautiful homes because I'm going to live in a home just like this someday.
Exactly.
Did not know when it was going to happen. Couldn't put a year on it or a date. 20, 30 years later, it happened, And so I'm a firm believer in manifestation. I believe you have to wake up every day and manifest what you want to create and have happen, and it will.
Yeah. So the way I work with manifestation is manifestation on demand. And we can manifest in a lot of ways, depending on what level of consciousness that we have. But manifesting on demand is very interesting for business owners, because I have been training myself and my clients in how to manifest money on demand, how to manifest results on demand on a specific date, a specific amount, to train it. I love to train stuff like that. And
Wow.
that's amazing to do that, because it's like you're sending out a demand to the universe, and then you've got to be ready to receive it. And how do we set ourselves up in receiving mode?
Right.
We do that by letting go of the old stuff, and that's not an easy process.
Mhm.
But if you want to do it, and if you do it on purpose, you suddenly have space and room for it in your physical home and internally, and then it's just going to land like this. And when your energy is very, very powerful, which means that you are able to direct your energy in one direction, which you are also, then results can land on demand. And it's difficult for the brain to comprehend.
Right.
But this is how I'm working. And also things are happening all the time, you know.
Right. Right.
And I receive information, and then I do what they're telling me. But still, if we want something, if we want a house, it's going to happen. If we want to become debt free, it's going to happen. I've been working with all these areas because I used to have so many money issues, and working myself through them. And I'm not sure that we ever are done with learning about money and energy and relationships, you know.
Right.
But I
Right.
always strive to become better so I can give that knowledge and wisdom to my clients.
Right.
Yeah.
So powerful. So powerful. This has been so interesting. Guys, if you really want to know more about what she does, how she does it, you definitely need to go to her Instagram page. We're going to definitely list that information below for you to also have. But this has been so powerful, so interesting, life-changing, you know. I'm just blown away. I'm almost speechless.
I love that. That's what people always say. I just love that. I love it.
Yeah. So we would really like to thank you once again for Madelin for being our guest today on Conversations in the Closet. This has been such a powerful topic. I know it's a topic that a lot of people are interested in and would like to know more about. So I hope today's segment here shines some light on it for them. But like I said, once again, why don't you repeat again where they can find you on Instagram, Madelin?
Yes, you can just find me on my name, Madelin Dior. It's Madelin Dior, Madelin Dior, and it's my new profile. So there's a few things you can read about my story and things like that. And just DM me if you have any questions, if you want to work with me.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Madelin, once again for being our guest. Once again, you've been listening to Conversations in the Closet. And until next time, bye-bye.